Hi, everyone. My name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
On this Camp Report show, I made a visit to Elkhart, Indiana, and visited the brand new executive director of the RV Hall of Fame. And we're going to meet with him today.
It's great. Nice to see a turnover. Daryl Sear did a phenomenal job putting it on solid foundation. And I've got a stressless interview with two stressless people,
Ah,
Tony and Peggy Barthel of Stressless Camping. Fun time.
there you go. Plus, we've got all the news of the week. Tell our audience where we get our news, Bob.
From Rick Kessler at RV Business and from Ben Quiggle at Woodall's Campground Magazine.
So we'll be back with those stories plus the news right after this, right here on the
Oh,
Camper Report Show. Attention RV owners, don't let roof damage rain on your parade. Discover RV Roof Magic, the industry-leading RV roof sealant for restoring and protecting your RV roof. Over a 30-year history of success, our advanced solvent-based formula chemically cross-links to your existing roof, making them one in the same. RV Roof Magic never needs a primer and only requires one coat. It provides superior waterproofing and durability, ensuring years of worry-free travel. Say hello to a leak-free future and goodbye to costly repairs with RV Roof Magic, your partner in RV roof care, and a 10-year warranty as well. Visit rvroofmagic.com/RVlife and extend your roof another 18 to 20 years. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Camp Report Show. This is our news segment. My name is John DePietro. I'm joined by Bob Zagami. And Bob, in a few short weeks, actually next week, we're going to see the start of the real camping season, Memorial Day, depending upon where you live, how quickly camping season is in full-fledged. But that's pretty much for the entire United States camping season. And I know that you've got some figures from AAA that they say 45 million Americans are going to be traveling over that long holiday weekend.
yep, over 50 miles.
Over
That's
50 miles, right?
over 50 miles. And
Yeah.
for most of us, leading into Memorial Day is the kind of unofficial start of the camping season, and for most people around the country. And that could mean cars and trucks and boats and cruises. And we like to focus on RVs. They didn't mention the exact number of RVs in the study, but we know from years past on that particular weekend, going down the highway, you will
That's
see
when you see them.
every other vehicle will be a
Yep.
travel trailer, a fifth wheel, or a motorhome.
Yep. You'll see them at rest areas. You'll see them at restaurants. You'll see them at the toll gates. You'll see them everywhere. And you know what? Like in New England, they're usually heading in one direction up to Maine, Vermont, or New Hampshire.
Yeah, yeah. They talk about it's going to be an increase of 1.4 million travelers compared to last year, and I think that will hold. The gas prices are holding stable. In many cases, they're going down. So it's not unusual to see gas under $3 a gallon right now. I saw 284 the other day down here in Florida. So gas prices go down, travel goes up.
Yep.
But we have been hearing that campgrounds still have availability for Memorial Day. Now, a couple of years ago, you couldn't get a Memorial Day or July 4th or Labor Day. It'd be difficult.
Well,
So,
depending upon where the people live, I mean, this has been, at least in the Northeast, it's been a no spring. Um, Last Saturday, in still the middle of May, I had Mother's Day weekend. We're wearing long winter coats, and maybe there's a reluctance to make a long-term plan, and people are waiting up until the couple of days before to see what happens. But either way, there's going to be people that will be, as our friend Steppenwolf said, heading out on the highway.
that's
And
right.
you know, while they head out on the highway, some will be in Brinkley's, some will be in other brands, but you know what? There'll be men, there'll be women, and I'm trying to lead up to the story
And they'll
about
be,
RVWA, the
and they'll
RV
be, and
Women's
they'll be,
Alliance.
let me help you out. There'll be more
Right.
people capable of fixing them or minor problems if you do get caught on the road, whether it's a Brinkley or another famous name. But Brinkley did just do a nice training program with the RV Women's Alliance and the RV Technical Institute. And they are taking the lead on this. And this was a Brinkley program pretty much for Brinkley employees. And I don't know the woman, but I know she's popular in RVIA. Brittany Redestorff, who works for Brinkley, had the company invest in the training program to take them through level one certification.
Yep.
And it didn't have to be an experienced RVer. Brinkley's thought process on this was even if the employee wasn't a camper, they should know what a camper is. And they
Right.
were training on level one, they would giving them the language and showing them the basics of what we would call pre-delivery inspections on plumbing, electricity, those types of the electrical, propane, plumbing, appliances, and more during a 1 week course. And they had a pretty good sized group.
Right. Now, the interesting thing is our friend Jessica Ryder from RVTI and RVWA is a master certified technician,
Right.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what? And she was also the instructor for the course. So congratulations to Brinkley. You know what? It's if you're in the RV biz, everybody in your company should know what you produce. And you know what? They only see them there in the factory. They should see them out on the road with what the customer, the end client, is dealing with.
Well,
So
it's a good point because nothing bothers me more than when I'm shopping. I don't care if it's at Home Depot or the local public supermarket, and you ask a question and you get a person that can't answer the question. Not only can they not answer the question, they don't know who to go to get the answer for the
yeah,
question. This type of program assures that whoever the consumer talks to, whether it's the person that answers the phone or the shipping guy rolling down boxes on a two-wheeler down the hall. They're going to know what the company does, what they make, why they make it, what their mission state, what their values are,
well,
and be able to either express them or find the exact person they need to find to
yeah.
go
You know
get.
what? That's an excellent analogy. I'll make a easier one for people to understand. If you work in a restaurant and you're a food server, shouldn't you be sampling the food there that day that's the special of the day or is a staple of the company? It's like someone's asking someone at a restaurant, "What do you like?" You know, well, I don't eat that. Well, how's the lobster today? Is the lobster from Maine or is it from Florida? I don't know. I don't eat that. Crazy. So anyway, congrats to RVWA, RVTI, and Brinkley for that um, particular program. And the other thing that we're seeing coming up in the next few weeks is National Go RVing Day, which has been designated on June 14th, which I think is also Flag Day.
It is. It is
Um,
this. It's always the second Saturday in June.
yep,
So it just so happens that it does fall on Flag Day.
yep,
And
exactly.
this
So
is
there's
a great
there's a big
program.
event where they invite lots of people to Washington, and I think I've already made my hotel reservations to go down there. Found a good rate at a Marriott hotel in Washington, D.C. Um, because the people in
But
Washington really need to know.
you're mixing it up with RVs Move America.
Oh, that's not the same one?
No, but
Oh,
that's all right.
I
That
think
this
it's right
this is
around the same time.
right. This
I
is a
think it's right around
toolkit.
the same time.
Yeah, this
Um, but National Go RVing Day, tell us the
RVs
gist of
Move
that.
America is I think the first week in June.
Yeah,
But the National Go RVing Day is they're encouraging people to visit a campground, visit an RV dealer, buy something new on your coach, and they want all of the people, the dealers, the campgrounds to advertise it somehow, some way. Bring it to the attention of everybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be an open house sale, but do something special on that day. And we tried last year to have some of our dealers have maybe pick out one or two models and have them on a special sale for it. But it's interesting because it coordinates with June, which is National Camping Month, and it's also the Great Outdoors Month. So the whole theme around June, so we get past Memorial Day and now you figured out how to cook hamburgers once again on the grill. But then come June, when people really start to head out, that whole preparation before July 4th, we want in June, get outdoors, get to your dealer, get to your campground, and build it around National Go RVing Day. And to come along with that, the Go RVing campaign has a new series of ads running that are called Beyond the Door. And they just brought those out. And it's the adventures that await you when you open the door of your RV. And it's a great little video
Yep,
because
I've seen the
the door,
ads.
yeah, the door opens and you're kayaking, the
Yep.
door opens and you're climbing mountains, the door opens and you're cooking s'mores around the campfire. Very well prepared ad.
Yep.
Looking
So last
forward to it.
week we talked with the people who produced that ad, and they said they used new movie technology that high-priced movies use to film stuff. So we're in a whole new world of getting
Yep,
product to the market.
absolutely.
So anyway, so that's the scoop on the news of the week, and we want to thank our friends. Where are we going to thank our friends from?
From RV Business, Rick Kessler, and from Woodhouse Campground Magazine, Ben Quiggle.
Okay, stay with us, everyone. This is the Camper Report Show. We've got a great one for you today. Hey, everybody, if you ever grew up and said someday you would like to be in the Hall of Fame, that's pretty cool. And the gentleman that I'm talking to right now is in the Hall of Fame. Okay, say hello to Daryl Milnickel. Daryl, welcome to your new haunts here in Elkhart. It's quite a beautiful place.
Thank you. It's a beautiful facility and it's an amazing place here, the RVMH Hall of Fame. I'm very excited to be a part of it.
Right. And let's get a misconception right now, Daryl, because a lot of people say RV Motorhome Hall of Fame, but that's not really what it stands for.
It is not. It is manufactured housing, which is another huge industry, which has some of its roots here in Elkhart, just like the RV side does. But common misconception, I hear it every day with our people coming into the tickets center. You know, what do you guys have here? Is it a trailer park? No, there's so much more to it. So it's exciting to see them come out of that museum and see everything that we have in there in that story and learn something new as they come through.
Now, you've been here all of 4 weeks. Okay. Learning curve?
Yeah, it's a bit of a fire hose, but that's any new position. The staff has been great. The board has been great. My predecessor, Daryl Sear, has been great about helping me get acclimatized to this new role and this new organization. I'm excited for what the future holds with it, though.
And they're going to throw you right to the wolves tomorrow because you've got a function here with, what, 13 or 1,400 people?
Yeah, we're sitting around 1,300 people
Okay.
For the annual power breakfast here at our facility.
Which started in the corner of one of the rooms.
It has expanded and grown every year.
And now you've got to had to build another room. I don't know, is it on the old side or the new side?
It is on our new side,
New
so it
side.
will be in our East Wing Convention Center tomorrow.
First time?
Second year over there.
Oh, was it over
Yeah,
there?
last
Okay.
year they ran it there as well.
Last year. But the product itself that you have here for the industry, it's appropriate that it's here in Elkhart because I think 85 to 90% of all RVs manufactured in the world are made right here.
Right here in Elkhart, that's correct.
So it's appropriate that the hall be here because you've got access to relics.
Absolutely, and not just access, but our bloodlines here. This is where this industry was birthed. It's where it went through hard times. It's where it's went through its greatest times. The manufacturers have stayed here in Elkhart, and I think that's one of the important things about having our facility here is maintaining that heritage.
You bring up a very interesting point that when you look at a lot of other industries that started in a certain spot in the U.S., but they've diversified out. Look at the automotive. Again, it's still right up the street in Detroit, but you've got automotive plants all over the country. Whereas the RV industry, yeah, you've got Tiffin down in Alabama and Winnebago, but they still have a connection to the city.
Yeah, I mean, largely all of the big players who started here are still here, not just headquartered, not just memorials, but they're active here in this community, in this environment, and that's huge for us. And we love being, the vision of that and bringing that story together to share with everybody as they come through our town.
Yeah, and you're lucky from a board perspective, from a management perspective, that they still stay actively involved, both financially as well as supporting you in other ways, like the open house.
Absolutely.
Out here.
Yeah, we host, our annual supplier show, and we bring in not just, manufacturers and dealers, but all of those smaller companies that are tied into these industries as well, that are a part of the RV industry, now get to come in and, mingle with those people as well. So we really serve as a hub for community in terms of RVs across the country. We get to be that pulse here annually, which is great.
Yeah, and it's so funny when you drive in now, when the lots aren't filled, and you say, wait a minute, the big tent is down there, the barbecue is down there, the fire pit is up here, and the Tiffin product is there, and the all the other Thor products that are on this campus, if you will.
The campus transforms, and that's one of the unique things about it, is depending on what events we have going on, it's a different experience, but people associate us with that experience every time. And my team does an amazing job at flipping that magic switch and turning this into the world's largest, RV-centric trade show, or whatever our event of the time is for the Power Breakfast tomorrow. This place will be jam-packed to the gills very early in the morning. So it's exciting to see.
Now, you say your team. How many people, what kind of staff do you have that's here on a day-to-day basis?
We are a small team. We have about 5 to 6 staff that run between our event center, our museum, and our gift shops. That keep everything going, myself included. And then we have a few, hourly support staff who help out in the gift shop and ticketing. So we are a small group, but we do quite a bit with as large of campus as we have. I have, a couple full-time maintenance people who help us keep all the lights and the whistles working. And then we have, our team focused on the museums and our exhibits and what we're doing for the Hall of Fame inductee dinners, running the supplier show, all of those events that we handle, making sure that we deal with the customers on a day-to-day. So.
Okay, yeah, because like during open house, I mean, the people that rent the facility from you, they bring hundreds of people.
Absolutely.
Onto the campus.
And, again, my small team, we coordinate all of that. So my maintenance guys are out there directing traffic for all those vendors coming in. Their shipments start coming in a week early.
Oh, yeah.
So this place turns into, a logistical hub about a week before that show. And when everyone comes, you see the final product, but there's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah. Well, just like today.
Yes.
They're putting tablecloths and chairs together, et cetera, you don't see many, I don't care what the industry is, but you don't see many functions with over 1,000 people anymore.
No, I think post-pandemic that changed. A lot of people saw the need to start getting together again, and the impact it had to be so separate. So I think we're coming out of that, we can just do this virtually mindset, and us having the event center here, we see this with not only our industries, but other industries gathering, which is great. It's human nature, it's a core piece of that, and we offer a center where they can do that at. So I think that we'll continue to see that uptick of these larger size, industry niche gatherings coming together and celebrating what we're about.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's only your 4th week here. The joke within the industry is that you had to be named Daryl to be able to apply, but you spell your name a little bit differently. But tell us about your background. What did you do that led up to this point in your life and your career?
Sure. I have a very different background than Daryl Sierra did. I did not come from the RV or the manufactured housing industries. Majority of my career was spent between the Marine Corps, where I was enlisted for 11 years and retired, and then also private corporate insurance. So I've done organizational management, I've done nonprofit management on the corporate side, and product design. So I led a lot of varied teams throughout corporate America, in terms of product design, portfolio development, organizational change, so staffing structure changes for large scale projects. But out in the Marines, I worked on all types of teams. I had lots of administrative experience, but also I was in combat arms, so transportation operations, combat deployments. So I bring a world of different experience to this position. And I think it's good. It gives me different perspectives on how we can continue on that success that Daryl Sear had and make sure that there's room for a Daryl 3.0 in the future, to continue to champion this legacy.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what was it that attracted you to this position, and what do you think of your background inside of what you just stated impressed the board to say, Daryl, come on down?
I think the big thing that attracted me is since I got out of the Marine Corps, I've been looking for something that I can associate a sense of purpose with, which is hard to find. There aren't many fraternal organizations looking to hire someone who kind of have that mission statement like a nonprofit does. I found this, I started digging into it some, and I thought, there's a real core here of they're trying to tell the story of this industry, how many people that affects, not just locally, but globally. People who are enthusiasts, people who have worked in the industry, their families are associated with it. I hear it every day from guests. My father worked on this model, my grandfather built this here in Elkhart. To me, that's special.
Oh.
And I can identify with preserving that legacy. That's something that's important to me. And that's something I bring to whatever position I'm in, is trying to champion that for it to continue. It was huge in the Marine Corps, obviously, what we have as a mission and what our values were to carry on.
Yep.
I'm trying to bring that here as well to make sure that what this stands for in the mission statement that the Heritage Foundation has through the Hall of Fame lives on. There's so many people impacted by this industry. Dealerships, manufacturers, the corporate side of it, the smaller side of it. And we see it every day in our traffic that comes through the museum. It's important for me to help carry that. So,
you ever go down and listen to the people as they walk through, to kind of like not telling people who you are, but just kind of like get the feel?
Absolutely, especially with this being week 4, it's good to kind of be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, they probably know more than you.
We have a great walkway up above the museum where we can kind of have that experience without interrupting the guest experience. So it's nice to kind of sneak a peek sometimes and hear what people think or hear the stories. But I like to get out and mingle with the guests as well and be on the floor and introduce myself and hear their perspective on our exhibits, on the pieces. It gives special meaning to those.
And geographically, you'd have to be blind to be able to miss this place. It's right on Interstate 90, which is the longest interstate highway in the United States, going from Boston all the way to the West Coast. You've also got a Harvest Host status here as well.
We do. We see quite a few campers, and we're starting to see more as the weather's improving here in Elkhart. This week alone, I think we've had a huge uptick from what it was even 2 weeks ago. So it's exciting. I've been told that during the summer months we get fairly busy with Harvest Hosts, so I'm excited to see more of those coming in. And a lot of the times, those are the guests who have the greatest stories. They're on, a road trip from who knows where to who knows where, but we're a must-see destination on their stop, and it's neat to see that people plan that out. We're not the roadside attraction, that some museums or spots might be. This is a destination for a lot of our visitors, and that's a very special thing.
Cool. Well, we want to wish you the best of luck as you continue your tenure here and move into month number 2.
Yes.
And if you can make it through tomorrow,
we're there.
You'll be all set. They're not getting you early in the morning here to cook eggs, are you?
I will be here before anybody,
early.
But that's okay. I like the chaos.
All part of the job. So Daryl Milnickel is the man. The RV/MH Hall of Fame is the place. Come join us right here in beautiful Elkhart, Indiana.
Thank you very much.
Afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Camper Report Show. And if you're stressed out, I got the perfect solution for you today, because we have Tony and Peggy Barthel of Stressless Camping. And some people might argue there's no such thing as stressless camping, but you guys have perfected it. So Tony, Peggy, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Thank you.
Well, we always like to have the caveat that it's not
Stressless camping is a goal, not always a reality.
Always a reality.
Anybody who's heard me say the words my mom told me not to at a campground knows that it's not always stressless camping.
All right, without going way back in history, tell folks how you got to have stressless camping, how it came about and why it's so successful.
Well, uh, to answer the second half of the question, we have no idea why. But how it came about, I was working at an RV dealership and I kept hearing the same questions over and over and over again. And I thought, gosh, I can build websites and I've always listened to podcasts. And so my very patient and tolerant wife, I said, hey, you want to do this instead of me having a real job? And she said, well, I guess. Here we are 6 years later. So it was our goal was to provide a source of information for people to help them make the most out of this wonderful thing we all call RVing.
How'd you come up with the name?
Well, we were on a road trip without an RV, actually with some friends, and we were just talking about it and saying, well, if we do this website, if we do this podcast, if we do all this stuff, what are we going to call it? We were coming up with ideas, and Tony was driving, I was looking up online. No, that website already exists. And one of our friends in the car said, well, let's see, you're going to stress less. How about stressless camping? And I looked it up and it was available and I bought it and there we went.
Yep. We bought it right on the spot, the name. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's the thing that I like about your podcast and what you do, you guys are really authentic American campers. There's a lot of flashy stuff out there with fancy graphics and people that are worried about their name and their clicks and what have you. You just do, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you just report on what you do. And
yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, we try to find topics or guests that are informative and interesting and fun. And we don't do yoga on the roof. We don't I rarely think of photos that are Instagram worthy. I take pictures of what I like to see, and that's what we share.
I think if I did yoga on the roof of our camper, the camper roof might collapse.
You and I don't qualify to go on. That's why they started taking the ladders off, because too many big guys are saying, hey, the ladder doesn't hold me. But the other thing that's impressive is that you worked at an RV dealership, and how many times do we complain about salespeople that don't do their homework, that don't learn the products, frustration of campers that go into a dealership. And I'm not saying it's all of them, I love our dealers, but when they go into the dealership and then they come out and say, we know more about this camper than they do. It does instill the kind of confidence. So go back to your dealership days, Tony. I suspect you used the same skills, you had the same personality, but why did you leave that? And did you change when you left, or is this the same Tony that I would have seen if I walked into a dealership open house?
No, it's the same.
Same
it's the
Tony.
Same me. In fact, I would even have customers bring me beer. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a big fan of craft beer. And so there were people who, after the sale and between the sale and the time that we did their PDI, their walkthrough, people would bring me all kinds of great beer. It was awesome. So I really appreciated that. But yeah, I mean, I've always been kind of a geek. And so I wanted to be able to accurately answer questions of people when they asked me, rather than either provide, bad information or no information. And that's just been my nature.
And Tony's really been an entrepreneur always, like all his life. He's had, in addition, or counting the one at the dealership, I think he's had like 3 jobs where you had to get up and go to work, get a paycheck. He is really a lifetime entrepreneur. And I think maybe of all the jobs he could have, it was a great one, but it's just not in his makeup to have a job.
Yeah.
Well, I always just tell my employees when I had my imaging company, if you have to get out of bed in the morning, then you better be doing something that you love to do, not just like.
Mhm.
I mean, how many people do we know that are in jobs only to reach retirement? They hate the job and they can't wait for retirement. I never had that. I don't think I ever had a work day in my life. It was fun, and that comes through. But see, that's what makes us unique in that kind of sphere because people you can't fake the reality. People can
Mhm.
see through it. And you're right, Tony. I used to have our customers take us out to lunch when we did a really good job, that they liked it that much. And that's the kind of relationship that you want. And that's really what you've carried over to your community. So how long have you had Stressless Camping now?
2018, February of 2018 is when we bought the website and started the website. And for about a year, we just maintained the website, had blog posts and things like that. And then in July of 2019 is when we started the podcast.
Okay.
She actually has a good memory.
Well, but I know I see your posts, so she enjoys the beer as much as you do. So you
Oh, yeah.
can't blame it on that. Now,
Well, the more beer you drink, the better I look. So
well, you got a long
Sometimes it's
way
just
to get a long way
self-defense.
you got a long way to go, Tony. Have you guys traveled up to Maine yet? Because you travel around, but you do fairs and stuff. So tell us a little bit like your schedule. Are you doing rallies? Are you traveling around on your own?
We are mostly when we travel, it's to get to a rally or to get to a training event that we teach basic training. So kind of what we call the 3-day version of the 1 hour PDI walkthrough. So we try to slow down that water, that, what do they call it, fire hose that people are
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
drink from to get the information. And so usually when we travel, it's to get to one of those events or to get to a rally. And then we try to enjoy the travel along the way.
but unfortunately, no, we have not been
No,
up in your neck of the woods, and we really it's on our
it's
list, and
absolutely on our list,
it's getting closer. Well, I mean, the whole East Coast, right? From we have
Right.
been to Florida and Key West and all that, but not in the
but
RV.
not in the RV. So
But
nothing
there's
on
a
the East
yeah,
Coast have
there's
we
a
been.
whole bunch of great places that we have not
So
seen yet in person.
let me give you the primary reason why you have to come up to Maine. Maine, on a per capita basis, probably has more microbreweries than any kill the large states, but they are every town. They actually have an association. They call it the Maine Beer Guild, and
Oh,
Ah,
you go to a location, you hop on a bus, and they'll take you to 5 or 6 of them, and then come back.
nice.
And
okay, well,
they vary it every year or how they do it, and just some absolutely amazing. Because my two daughters come up a lot, and they love the microbreweries too. And there are days that we'll hit 3 or 4 of them on Saturday afternoon before we go to dinner Saturday night. But check it out. It'll make you change your plans. It's called the Maine Beer Guild, and
and there's just not only that. I mean, obviously that, and there's the big breweries too, like oh my gosh, my brain. But anyway, the larger breweries, but just the history. There's so much we want to see
Yes, yeah.
up there that I think we could spend an entire summer.
Yeah,
Just, I think we'd only scratch the surface.
yeah,
well,
yeah.
you'd want to go to Massachusetts and stop at Sam Adams because Sam Adams,
That's the one.
that's the one you were thinking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's most people credit that as the first microbrewery, and
right.
they built it up in an old warehouse, and you can go in there. It's a great distillery tour, and yeah, it's
Yeah, and also Yingling, and that's in Pennsylvania.
Yingling is the
And
very first beer supposedly in America, and that's in Pennsylvania. So yeah, you could make a hell of a beer trip.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then forget any of the history I learned.
Well, and then there's the nice scenery, and then cap it off with some phenomenal seafood. So
Right.
a good cold beer on the rocks overlooking the Atlantic Ocean and a big lobster in front of you. I mean, Tony,
Oh,
Oh, that's heaven right
yeah,
there.
it's you can go through the whole thing like that.
yeah,
So
I'd
great
love
seafood
that.
restaurants, great beer, and the history, like you say, the Portland Headlight in Fort Williams Park is the first lighthouse in the United States, and it was commissioned by George Washington.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
It's one of the
Yeah,
most
I mean
good
that's
ones. You're right there.
that's stuff we don't get over here.
You have to, you have to bring your own beer, but it's okay. So you do that.
There's
So
plenty to be had.
tell
Yeah.
us, got a little time left here. To tell us about the podcast. What are the typical things people are going to see in each edition or on the web page? What are the things that you're most proud of in terms of the communicating it to the RVers?
I'm gonna start again at the back half on the website. We've tried to curate information that people tend to look for in like these collections. So, for example, if you're buying an RV, there's a whole collection of articles and podcasts and videos there that you can go to. Um, if you're, a lot of people are like, well, how do I get internet now? Or, um, what are the basics that I need for RVing? And so we have these collections we've put together, and we try to make it easy for people to find things that they might find useful. And when we have information that we may not know ourselves, we try to find the most verifiable source for that information rather than just guesses.
So you're listing various resources, but I think aren't you also listing some of your podcasts that relate to that particular collection? So you got it all in
Yeah.
one spot.
Yeah. Yeah. So the collections will have videos, podcasts, articles, and resources in them. So if a podcast fits within, like the RV basics, for example, which is, new RVers can turn to, then we'll put it in that collection too. So as for the podcast, we try to find things that will serve our audience well. And we have kind of discovered our audience is a whole lot of us.
Yeah.
So let's say pre-retirement travel trailer, kind of looking at the fun and unusual stuff out there. And so that's what that's kind of where the podcast looks. And we've had some great guests like yourself, um, and others as
And
well,
my sidekick.
and
Yeah.
your sidekick. Yep. Who's made it out to Quartzsite? We do go to Quartzsite every year.
Yeah.
Yep,
And
yep.
so we're still waiting for you to be there.
So it's one place that's avoided me, or I've avoided it, and All right, our guests today are Tony and Peggy Barthel with Stressless Camping. Can't thank you enough, guys, for squeezing it into your schedule. Hope to see you down the road. Any last minute comments for our fans?
Well, thank you for having us. And, just keep getting out there and camping. And if you have basic questions, ask us or look it up. And
Yeah, or
that's
even
our whole goal is to
give them
make
the URL.
camping
We'll
stress
put it down
less.
below.
yeah,
What is
Okay.
it?
stresslesscamping.com.
Stressless
And
Camping,
that's where you can find all our stuff,
including Tony and Peggy.
Yeah.
including us.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. We'll see you down the
Oh,
road.
always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right.